If Pokemon's your favorite series, how come we only done one Pokemon game? Okay, look. Actually, wait, let's do another one. Well, I did Coliseum last time, so naturally, I've gotta do XD Gale of Darkness now. Coliseum was a pretty great, but still flawed game. XD, on the other hand, polishes up everything that made Coliseum so great while expanding and improving upon it. Oh man, I was really excited to go back and play this game. Pokemon XD is one of my favorite GameCube games, and it's one that just about everyone forgets about. I'm gonna be spoiling some of the early to mid-game stuff too, so you've been warned. I am really bad at intros, but who cares? Buckle down, folks. This is gonna be a long one. Our story starts out with a boat. Huh, that's a nice boat. Oh boy, here comes the choppers. This is about to get real. The guys on board know this too. This is the face of a man who knows he's screwed. Oh my god, is that a Goth Lugia? That's pretty cool, actually. Oh no, Goth Lugia's got a tractor beam. These guys just stole a friggin' cargo ship while it was being piloted. You do not want to mess with people like this. Cut to the main protagonist, and dude, I've already got a level 50 Salamence? Kick ass. These assholes won't know what hit them. I'll beat the hell out of those guys who stole that cargo ship, and then I'm going to Disney World. Wait, this was all just a simulation? This is some real Matrix level BS. Am I even real? Is this video real? Are you real? Now that we're back in this supposed reality, the only Pokemon you have is a level 10 Eevee. Last time, the game started out with some dude stealing some weird snagging machine thing and running away on his badass hover bike with explosions all along the way. XD starts out as some kid with a fake Salamence. Lame. This starts out with a bit more like a traditional Pokemon game. You're at a low level this time instead of having 2 level 25s, and this kid's only Pokemon is Eevee. XD doesn't escalate quite as quickly as the last game, but hey, humble beginnings, I guess. The protagonist's name is Michael, and he lives in the Pokemon Research Lab of Ore with his mom Lily and his sister Jovi. Everyone's always singing high praise about you and Jovi. Lily is actually annoyed by this because she doesn't want her kids to be spoiled rotten. You know, it wasn't until replaying this game that I realized that your mom is an actual character in this game, not just another NPC, which is pretty cool. Also, don't ask about your dad, he's dead. He gave Michael his Eevee though, so your starter has sentimental value, I guess. The director of the research lab is Professor Crane. And before anyone asks, I don't think there was a crane tree. Believe me, I'm just as disappointed as you probably are. Anyway, your sister seems to have disappeared, so we've gotta go find her. She's not in her room, but this guy hiding under her table seems to know where she is. He seems very trustworthy. I mean, he plays hide and seek with her, so he obviously knows all her best hiding spots. Apparently, she went off to the manor of a guy named Dr. Kaminko. You ride there on your dorky scooter, and oh god, this place is scary. Why is she here exactly? Try as you might to knock on the door politely, Dr. Kaminko's assistant, Chobin, is convinced that you're a Boogaloo and battles you. Chobin sends out the weakest Pokemon in existence. He is not very good at stopping intruders. After his crushing defeat, he realizes you're not a Boogaloo, and Jovi conveniently comes rushing out the door. At this point, it finally dawns on you that Jovi is really annoying. She constantly talks down to you, and she speaks in third person. Plus, her face is just completely terrifying, like, oh my god, this is the face of a cold-blooded killer. And what is that? Is that supposed to be her nose? Did she chop off her own nose? Whatever, man, I'm moving on before I give myself nightmares. After visiting the doctor for a bit, you take Jovi home with your Maiden. Then, Professor Crane gives it the snag machine. Turns out the Shadow Pokemon are back, and someone's gotta save them all. Might as well be this kid. Then, out of nowhere, the professor gets kidnapped. Alright, this just got interesting. One of them challenges you to battle, and oh, we've got Shadow Pokemon. XD does a much better job of teaching that you can actually catch Shadow Pokemon. In Coliseum, nothing's really stopping you from killing your Shadow Makuhita at the beginning. In XD, you physically cannot continue in the game until you catch this Teddiursa. Luckily, you'll always catch this one, so it's just your standard tutorial. Although XD actually does the catching tutorial better than the main games, because you're actually forced to catch something yourself. Even though I've been playing these games my entire life and am fully capable of figuring out how to throw a Pokeball, at least I'm actually doing something and not just watching a cutscene. Catching this Teddiursa doesn't really do much, the professor's taken away anyway. Everyone is all sad that Crane's kidnapped and they were almost done making the Purify Chamber, and Lily just says, screw it, we're finishing it ourselves. Lily is pretty cool. Seriously, your mom isn't just some random NPC for once. Lily has you and Jovi get posted to the Purification Machine. You run into this thug named Zook. He's got a Shadow Zangoose? Nice! Let's catch it. Just kidding, because some old guy comes in and has one of his supporters beat his Zangoose in submission. The old guy's name is Mr. Verich. He seems like a respectable old man, but I'm sure it's not gonna be important later. After that, you evolve your Eevee into whatever you want and learn how to purify Shadow Pokemon, and learn of a lab that has some shady characters going in and out of it. It's here where the game really starts. The second to last area of Coliseum is the first major dungeon of XD, which is some pretty cool continuity. They start out giving you a nice variety of shadow Pokemon right off the bat, too. The 6 guys in front of the place that are terrible counting are known as the Hexagon Brothers. Green 6 has a Houndour, Yellow 6 has a Mareep, Blue 6 has a Spheal, Blue 6 has a Baltoy, Green 6 has a Seedot, and Poop 6 has a Gulpin. You can keep fighting these guys as much as you want until you finish up the story of the lab, and you have a really nice variety of catchable Pokemon already. Not to mention the shadow Pokemon you can find in the lab, like Numel, Corvana, and Shroomish. After rescuing the professor and taking down the first admin, it's pretty clear the Cypher, the ones responsible for the shadow Pokemon from the first game, are back and bigger than ever. This time around, they're working on a shadow Pokemon that's immune to purification, XD001, or Shadow Lugia. And so, it's up to you, and basically only you, to stop Cypher and put it into shadow Pokemon. No real backstory for Michael, he just happens to be some kid that's really good at Pokemon battles. The story is overall pretty standard fare. I say Coliseum's story is a bit better due to us having that whole ambiguous backstory, but XD still has more story than most Pokemon games. XD does have a bit of a plot twist, but it's fairly obvious and not really that unexpected. But hey, XD's story is simple and it works. Not much in the motivation department, but it works. For those unfamiliar with Pokemon Coliseum, Pokemon XD is a sequel to that game, despite what Reggie said about it prior to release. The main way to catch Pokemon is to steal corrupted Pokemon from other trainers. That's pretty badass. These corrupted Pokemon are called Shadow Pokemon. They don't gain experience and instead have a hull gauge that depletes over time. Ways to deplete the hull gauge include walking around, using it in battle, or buying special scents from the Agate Village. As the gauge depletes, they regain moves and their nature becomes visible. Each Shadow Pokemon comes with unique Shadow moves. In XD, Shadow Pokemon have been changed around a lot. For one, Shadow moves don't do neutral damage to all Pokemon. Instead, they do super effective damage to all non-Shadow Pokemon. While Shadow moves don't go much past 70 power, that's essentially 140 base power, with infinite PP too. In Coliseum, the only Shadow move is Shadow Rush, which was the 90 base power physical move that did recoil. In XD, there was 18 Shadow moves. Most of these are attacks, but there were a few stats moves. Most of these stats moves just low stats except for 2, Shadow Sky and Shadow Half. Shadow Sky is basically just hail that damages all non-Shadow Pokemon each turn, and Shadow Half just straight up halves the HP of every Pokemon in the field, including the user. It does take a turn to recharge, but it makes catching anything with it really easy. Also, shout out to Shadow N with his base 120 power. It does do half your HP in recoil, but that's essentially 240 base power, which is insane. Shadow moves, unlike every other type up until Gen 3, can be physical or special. The physical special split didn't happen until Diamond and Pearl about 2 years later, but this is something I still think is pretty cool. Just about all of them make sense too. Shadow Rush is physical, Shadow Wave is special. Lugia's Shadow Blast is physical for some dumbass reason though. Oh, did I mention the Shadow Pokemon in XD get a 50% boost to their speed? Okay, cool, thanks. If it wasn't obvious by now, Shadow Pokemon in XD are wicked strong. It was so good that when I was a kid, I made damn sure that I had at least one slot in my team permanently dedicated to Shadow Pokemon. I did have a full team of 6 purified Pokemon this time, but Shadow Pokemon are too good not to use. They were pretty reliable in Coliseum, but they were buffed so much in XD that it's hard not to use them. In Coliseum, there was a mechanic called Hyper Mode. When in the state, it does eat up their tomb, and it gives Shadow Rush a much higher crit rate at the cost of being able to use only Shadow Rush. It was random when it happens, but it was super beneficial when used right. In XD, this was replaced with Reverse Mode. All it really does is make you take damage each turn. In both games, using the call command reverse some of their normal state and depletes some of their hold gauge. Reverse Mode is pretty lame compared to the risk-reward of Hyper Mode, but it does encourage you to actually purify your Shadow Pokemon. In Coliseum, I ended up using a Shadow Third until Hyper Mode Shadow Rush stopped being useful, and that's probably what they intended to fix. While we're on the subject of Shadow Pokemon, it's much easier to get a second chance at catching them this time around. In Coliseum, you basically needed a god if you accidentally killed any Shadow Pokemon. Most Shadow Pokemon were in different locations if you screw up, and it was just a mess. In XD, if you screw up, they'll show up in the hands of mere goddamn B. He's back, baby! And he's got a snazzy new theme. You usually need to play through Pirate Coliseum to battle him, but he just occasionally show up in Pokespots, which I'll get into later. Ruby has like no plot significance in this game, but I don't care. More Ruby! How does this one guy keep getting his hands on these Shadow Pokemon anyway? Beats me. Seriously, he needs to be in the main games really badly. This man is a national treasure. Another great change is how easy it is to purify Shadow Pokemon now. Once the whole gauge is empty, it's time to purify and bring it back to normal. Once purified, the Pokemon gains all the experience it would have gained while it was a Shadow Pokemon, and all of its Shadow moves are replaced with regular moves. Also, I guess some dumb movement no one cares about. Before, the purification process was super grindy and annoying, but now we've got the purification chamber. Basically, we've got 9 purification sets to work with. You put in normal Pokemon, they will purify Shadow Pokemon over time. If you put in Pokemon that are strong against each other, the tempo rises and the Shadow Pokemon is purified faster. It doesn't take resistances into account, luckily. For example, Grass type against Air still counts as being weak to Grass because it's a Rock type, even though its Steel type makes it take neutral damage from Grass. This whole purification chamber doesn't seem like much, but if you keep using it throughout the game, you can purify like 2/3 of all Shadow Pokemon by essentially doing nothing. Like, I just casually played through the game and I had 58 of the 83 Shadow Pokemon purified by doing absolutely nothing. It makes the whole process of purifying Shadow Pokemon way more fun and a lot less grindy. That's 58 free Pokemon that I can just trade over to the Gen 3 games. When I was a kid, I did not realize how useful this purification chamber was. During my first playthrough of the ripe old age of 7, I purified every Shadow Pokemon without using the purification chamber. I had the patience of a saint growing up. And in case you're wondering if there was a way to purify Shadow Lugia, there is. It really shows how incompetent Cypher is at making unpurifiable Shadow Pokemon. All you have to do is make all 9 purification sets into a perfect set. It sounds annoying, but I did this by the end of the game anyway, so if I can do it, I'm sure you can too. And there you have it. A bona fide purified Lugia that you can trade to any of your Gen 3 games. I love the irony. The Shadow Pokemon that's supposed to be immune to purification is the easiest to purify when you know what you're doing. It's like Piracy on the Dreamcast. It's really easy even though they tried to make it really hard. Let's change subject. Shadow Lugia's design, let's talk about that. They made such a heroic and powerful looking Pokemon look corrupted and evil. Shadow Lugia is honestly one of my favorite legendary Pokemon design wise. It really makes me wish they did this kind of design with more Shadow Pokemon. But you remember those Pokespots I mentioned earlier? Well, you can catch wild Pokemon now. This is a much better deal than it sounds like. Its implementation, however, is pretty damn weird. What you need to do is set down bait, leave the area, and wait for your PDA to send you a notification to drop whatever it is you're doing and go fight some dumb wild Pokemon. I'm not annoyed with this system as much as other people are, but oh my god, this is just so unnecessary. There was only 3 Pokemon available per location, but come on, this is really dumb. Wouldn't it have just been easier to add random encounters at these places? You can ignore this entirely, but it feels like a wasted opportunity. I never use any of the Pokemon available from these spots because it feels like such a crapshoot when it comes to getting the one you actually want. At least Zubats feel ironically hard to find. A really nice detail about this is that there's different catching animations, just throwing a Snag Ball is unnecessary. Because it's a wild Pokemon. We have some really snazzy wild Pokemon music too. You can trade the rare encounter in each spot for something else, which is another cool addition. You can trade a Trapinch for a Meditite, a Associate for a Shuckle, or a Wooper for a Larvitar. But we'll talk for a minute. Is it just me, or does Duking look like Saxon Hale in this game? Might just be me. What is it with you and TF2 references? It's not a phase, Dad. It's who I am. If you haven't noticed by now, in XD and Coliseum, all the battles are double battles. Just like in Coliseum, this is still pretty damn awesome. Double battles open up a lot more strategy to fights and give certain Pokemon a much better chance to shine. Personally, I wouldn't normally use a pure wall like Fortress. It just slows down the battle too much for my taste. But since all the battles are doubles, I can still have someone doing damage while Fortress soaks up hits. And that's just one example. I can have a Pokemon whose main role is just inflict status conditions and still do damage with my other Pokemon out in the field. It really helps the boss to take advantage of these strategies like Golgan and his Earthquake Protect spamming ass. There's a reason why doubles VGC is so popular. So many more options open up when you have 2 Pokemon out at once. There really needs to be some kind of option to enable doubles only in the main games. This style is just too damn fun to leave on these 2 side games. XD has much better pacing than Coliseum as well. A lot of areas in Coliseum were just hallways with a barrage of trainers, but in XD it never felt like that except for one area. But it was pretty short, so it wasn't really an issue. Shadow Pokemon were given to you at a much better pace too, for the most part at least. In the final area of the game, there's a lot of trainers with 2 Shadow Pokemon at once, and it can get pretty overwhelming if you're not prepared for it. But it's fine other than that. There's a much better variety of catchable Pokemon too. In Coliseum, it was mostly Johto Pokemon, but it was pretty clear this was meant to be a way to fill out the Pokédex in Gen 3. But in XD, we have a good variety of Pokemon from the first 3 gens, so it's pretty easy to have a competent team. In Coliseum, you had to make a few compromises due to the small amount of Pokemon available, but it doesn't feel that limiting here. The 83 Shadow Pokemon plus the 12 you can get through the Pokespots is a surprisingly decent selection to choose from. Sure, it's super small compared to the 300 to 400 Pokemon we have available in Gen 6 and 7, but it's enough to where you don't feel limited. And while a little under half of these guys can't be caught until the final area, I still felt like I had enough options to make a team I liked. XD also has a feeling of growing strong in the Coliseum severely lacked. The Coliseum already started out with level 25 Pokemon that were fully evolved, and most of you Pokemon didn't even gain experience until around 5 hours in. You started out strong, and I didn't really feel like you were growing stronger. In XD, you not only start out at level 10, but Purification is unlocked before the first major dungeon, so you start to feel strong throughout the whole game. And remember that Zoot guy from the beginning of the game with the Shadow Zangoose? It feels so climatic and cool to finally fight him and snag his Zangoose. Then you later stop the protection of Shadow Pokemon entirely, and it just makes you feel stronger, which is something Coliseum really lacked. XD has a really cool idea for a starter too. While everyone starts out with an Eevee, you get to choose what it evolves into. So this game essentially has 5 starters as opposed to the normal 3. This is Gen 3 though, so no Leafeon, Glaceon, or Sylveon. Bit of a warning with the Vaporeon route though. There's no HMs in this game, which also means there's no way to teach Pokemon Surf unless it comes with it. So the best water move Vaporeon will have access to is Water Pulse. There is a move tutor lady in Agate Village, but it's so weird how that she can't teach Surf, Fly, Waterfall, and Strength. XD has a weird amount of cool side quests too. Like there's Battle Bingo, which is weirdly hard to explain. Well, we pick a starting card, and each tile says what type of Pokemon is on the card. You can either choose to fight it, or catch it with a Master Ball. Each time you use a Pokemon, it uses 1 EP. If it runs out of EP, you can't use it anymore. The mystery tile can either be more EP or another Master Ball. Fill up bingos until you win. It's nothing you write home about, but it's a weirdly creative side challenge. There's also Battle Sims, which are essentially puzzle battles. You'll put through a bunch of different scenarios, and you have to figure out how to win within a set amount of turns. The opponent does the same action on each turn, so it really comes down to figuring out what to do on each turn. This is pretty cool too, and you do get some decent rewards from them, like TMs and vitamins. Battle CDs are a collectible you can find lying around, so you can do these as often as you like. At Pokespots, there's a chance that you can actually find Munchlax and Bonsly in Gen 3, before they were available in the main games. You can't actually catch them, and it was so damn cool seeing these guys in a game back then. You can get a Battle Bingo code for Bonsly, so you can kind of use it, but the novelty's worn off at this point. Not to mention the Pirate and Tower Coliseums you can go back to if you ever need a train up for experience. What about Mount Battle? I take it all back, I hate this game. Why'd you have to go and mention that accursed trip to hell? Fine, I'll talk about it. So, who's ready to take on 100 trainers with slow animation speeds and weak Pokemon until the last 20 trainers? Once you have the last 20 or so, it's actually interesting because it's not an absolute tedious and boring cakewalk. But your soul's already crushed by this point, another horror isn't worth it. Wait a minute, they changed the reward. If you fight all 100 trainers without changing out your party, everyone in your party gets this dumb Earth Ribbon and your choice between a Chikorita, Cyndaquil, or Totodile. They come with an egg move in their elemental Hyper Beam, but is this really worth it? Hell no. Just play Coliseum instead, you Neanderthal. With all this stuff, Ori doesn't feel like a chore to go back to, especially since it takes place 5 years out of the first game. Except for Mount Battle, I am not getting into that again. Think of XD as a Black 2, White 2 situation. You're all going through a lot of the same towns and areas, but each place is different enough to still feel unique upon revisiting. Like how Pyrite Town now has a news station that's run by the Kid Network from the first game. Whoa, Seg looks exactly like Yosuke from Persona 4. Like, it's not just me, this dude just straight up Yosuke. Later on, the news station gets raided by Cypher so they can delete the data ROM that Crane had net analyzed. This is the one part that felt like battles and hallways, but honestly, this is too cool of a scenario to even be annoyed at. It's like in Gold and Silver when Team Rocket took over the radio station. The part afterwards is damn awesome too. Net deciphered enough of the data ROM to figure out the Cypher's planning an attack on Phoenix City, so we go there and something feels off. Everyone feels overly shady and nothing feels right. Even the Pokemon Center is closed. That's never happened before. I swear, this guy running around the fountain had a cast form before. Pokemon are just tools for battling? Use them to destroy your opponents without mercy? Okay, something's definitely wrong here. Then you end up finding a note in the mayor's bedroom and find out Cypher's kidnapped and stolen the identities of almost everyone in town. Turns out that the previously regular town is just a dungeon now. All this just so that one of Cypher's admins could be elected governor. Then you just fight this dude in an abandoned Phoenix Stadium. God, I love this game. Cypher in general was just really entertaining this time around. They didn't just feel like generic bad guys. All the peons are pretty whimsical and entertaining, like this one guy that just hides in an elevator to ambush you, and brags about how strong he is to be able to accomplish such a feat. The admins have personality too. Lavrina is super girly, but she's also a scientist and is implied to be abusive to her subordinates. Snato is a cunning politician, and Gorgon is a blunt, tough guy engineer. While there's not much animation during cutscenes, these villains still have a lot of personality for so little. Team Snagging is back too. While they all push to the side like last time, they don't really feel like villains. They find out there's another snag machine and ambush you after visit the Crash SS Lebo and take it from you, by having their gloom use sleep powder on you. Sweet mother of Arceus, how has no one else ever thought to do this? Then you track down their base, beat Gonzab, and they're just like, nah man, he's cool, he can have it back, it doesn't fit me anyway. And you know, I was not expecting to love the team I picked out so much. Everyone I had just had so much synergy with each other. My Jolteon pretty much always went first, and he could easily paralyze Shadow Pokemon for snagging. My Ursine was such a damn powerhouse, and if Guts activated, it basically meant the return was guaranteed to one-shot anything in her path. That pun was ad-libbed, I swear. My Walrein was just so good at taking hits and was still able to do tons of damage. Definitely helped by how early you can get an Ice Beam TM in this game. My Balloon could 1- to 2-shot enemies with Mach Punch alone for most of the game, and once Mach Punch stopped being useful, he got access to Sky Uppercut instead. My Gardevoir can take special hits while still doing lots of special damage, while also casting up Reflect to make everyone take less physical damage. And Fortress. Fortress might just be my MVP. While he couldn't do much damage, and once he evolved and learned Substitute, he very rarely died, letting me heal up others on the side and still take hits like a truck. Not to mention having Light Screen and cover up his low special defense, just letting me stall out Shadow Pokemon for snagging. I've never even used half these guys either. Ursaring's awesome, Walrein's awesome, Fortress awesome. I forgot how awesome Breloom is, just... Oh man, I did not expect to like these guys as much as I did. Hell, this might just be my favorite run of this game ever. Like, the first fight against Snana was really hard, right? Breloom just kicked his ass into submission first try. My team wasn't even fully healed. Still won thanks to Breloom. Or when I went to fight Gonzab, half my team was dead from the fight before, but Teddy Ursa just evolved and got paralyzed first turn. Gus kicked in and everyone died. The end. XD's got an amazing soundtrack too. There's the Wild theme, the boss theme, the final boss theme, Mirror Beast theme, Phoenix City, the Research Lab theme, oh god, it's just such good music. And while the graphics still aren't too much to write home about, they've been greatly improved from Coliseum. It's nice when it doesn't look like a Dreamcast game. There are a few issues with XD though. Mainly just those damn notifications, having you stop what you're doing and go fight a stupid wild Pokemon, or fight Mirror Bee to catch a Shadow Pokemon accidentally killed, but these are things that you can skip entirely. While the final area can be seen as annoying, I actually think it's quite fun. It's one of my favorite final areas in the game. Here's why. So why do nearly half the Shadow Pokemon show up in the final area of the game? Because Cypher's far-off evil lair was a secluded volcanic island called Citadel Isle. Wait, that's not a reason. Any trainer in this place with a Shadow Pokemon is pretty much guaranteed to have at least 2 of them. You even refight every admin, and some bosses have 3 or even 4 Shadow Pokemon. With around 37 of these bad boys in the last few hours of the game, that's a lot of snagging. I've heard this place feels really tedious because of this, and I can see that pretty easily. But I don't personally see Citadel Isle as a tedious chore. Citadel Isle presents a challenge unique to XD. This isn't a test of your battling skills. This is a test of your catching skills. And that's really damn cool. You go through, you snag every single last one of these Shadow Pokemon, you just feel stronger from it. Look at this ensemble of Pokemon I have now. Sure, this place can be a tedious chore when you think of it as padding to increase the amount of Shadow Pokemon in the game. But what is seen as the ultimate test of your catching skills? Citadel Isle is a really cool final area that can't be replicated in the main games. Since we're in the spoilers section, I might as well go on the cool final boss as well. So you make your way through the Cypher Key layer, you beat Gorgon's ass, and oh, look at that! It's Mr. Virich! The guy that helped you in Ganian Port? I wonder what he's doing to help out Cypher. Wait a minute. Mr. Virich is actually named Grand Master Greevil, and is the new head of Cypher. It's a cool twist, but like, did anyone not see it coming? It wasn't super obvious or anything, but it's not shocking either. You can go back and look at the whole 2 times they foreshadow this, and it does make sense, but like, this dude has no backstory. At all. Who the hell is this bastard? We don't know anything about him other than he's secretly evil. He doesn't have much personality either. He just is. His bodyguards have even less personality. Did these guys even count as human? I like to think they have Russian accents, but that's about it. Mr. Virich, perhaps I should... That's a terrible Russian accent. Yeah, shut up, Kevin. Anyway, to get back to the research lab to get Master Ball, you make your way through Citadel Isle, and we fight all the admins, including Greevil's right-hand men. Aldos has a whole 3 Shadow Pokemon, and Eldest has 4 Shadow Pokemon. Sweet Arceus, that's a lot of snagging to do. A detail I don't see mentioned about XD much is that the penultimate boss has a level 50 Shadow Salamence. Right at the end of the game, you get the opportunity to catch the very same Pokemon that you were teased with at the beginning of the game. Not only that, but it's going to be a very powerful ally for the final boss. It just makes the sense of growing stronger feel that much greater, and it's a detail I always loved, but almost never hear mentioned. After you beat those guys, it's finally time to fight Greevil himself. This dude is super non-BS and just gives you a short monologue before he sends out Shadow Lugia. Oh, thanks, game. That's Shadow Pokemon? Cool, thanks, I had no idea. Shadow Lugia is powerful. All 4 of his shadow moves are shadow, so everything this thing throws at you is deadly. It's really hard to stay alive while fighting this thing. Catching it is really hard. You know what? I'm just using the Master Ball. With XZ001 probably snagged, it's time for the real sweet mother of Arceus. Close your eyes, man. Is this why Brock never opens his? But oh man, just listen to this music. Greevil has not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 whole Shadow Pokemon. This dude's entire party is just Shadow Pokemon. But wait, because he happens to have a Shadow Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. Are you ready to catch 3 legendaries in the same fight? His Tauros, Rhydon, and Exeggutor are a total joke compared to these guys. My strategy for this fight is bring along Salamence, leave it open slide in my party, and use my Master Ball on Lugia, and use a secret weapon against him. Gotta love irony. Then I just spam shadow moves and start Time Balls to become game-breaking tools of catching destruction. I caught Articuno and Zapdos with 1 Time Ball each. No status condition. Not sure if I have really good luck or the strategy just really works. Probably both. This fight can be a grueling RNG fest if you're not prepared, but it just feels so awesome being able to catch legendaries so easily using this strategy. While having 3 Shadow Legendaries feels like they're overdoing it, this fight just feels like the ultimate test of your catching skills, which just relates back to Citadel Guile being a catching challenge and not necessarily a battling challenge. After kicking Greevil's ass, Greevil decides to have an existential crisis while Aldos gets mad and wants to blow up the island. Meanwhile, Eldis decides to not be a crazy son of a bitch and tries to convince them that they lost and shouldn't continue. Oh, Aldos and Eldis are Greevil's kids? That's cool, I guess. Eldis makes Greevil and Aldos realize they've lost their ways, and he just tells you to go home. That's it. That's the ending. None of the villains go to jail, nothing. Saifu just gets off scot-free, what the hell? They stole an entire cargo ship, let 2 guys for dead, terrorized 2 towns, and they just get away with it? This ending is so dumb. It doesn't even feel like an ending. I know Pokemon isn't exactly the pinnacle of storytelling, but come on. One thing I do want to mention about this game is the story it was originally supposed to have. Originally, Greevil and the game weren't going to be the villains. It was instead going to be Wes, the protagonist of the first game. This not only would have been an amazing twist, but it makes sense now why Greevil felt so shoehorned in with no personality. I guess it didn't make the cut because it was deemed too dark, and I can kinda see that. It also would have diminished Wes's ambiguous backstory. But this is the kind of thing that would have blown my goddamn mind as a kid. Hell, it would have blown my mind now. But alas, we get some generic villains and an abrupt ending. Post-game doesn't have much more content. Once you snag the other 82 Shadow Pokemon, head to Gaudi and pull for one final showdown with the man, the myth, the legend, Mirror B. You've seen him at least a dozen times by this point, but is that really a bad thing? He's got 5 Ludicolo, as nature intended, and a Shadow Dragonite. Snag a Dragonite and congratulations! You've snagged all the Shadow Pokemon! Now purify all of them. Or don't. You don't get anything anyway. Not that it matters, I purified the unpurifiable Shadow Pokemon like 30 minutes after I got it anyway. After that, Mirror B runs away and is never seen from again. Again. I'm not crying, you're crying. There was also the new Oi Coliseum that's stupidly hard. No cover legendaries or mythicals allowed, and the level 11 is 60. This place is hard. If you manage to get through the first round of this place, there's a side quest involving Pokemon losing their voices or something, I don't know. I've never actually been able to beat the first round of the Oi Coliseum. The only thing you can get out of it is a lucky egg, which really isn't worth it at this point. After that, you can finish up Battle Bingo and Battle CDs. They're fun challenges if you want to put time into them. Or you can go through Mount Battle 3 times and get Johto starters. No. How the hell did they manage to make Mount Battle even more tedious? Oh wow, I accidentally wrote my longest script yet. I didn't realize I had so much to say about this game. Well, let's wrap this up, shall we? Pokémon XD Gale of Darkness is a fantastic game that I've always loved since it came out. If you're looking for a Pokemon game that's different than the core games, look no further. If you're a fan of the series and have a GameCube or backwards compatible Wii, give this one a shot. It fixes up issues with Colosseum beautifully, and while it may still have a few issues, they're nothing major and can mostly be ignored. I finished XD in about 25 hours, so it definitely feels like a full adventure. It's pretty easy to find, but fair warning that it usually goes to about 40 bucks. Look, I just love Pokemon XD. It may have been panned by critics and fans back in the day, but it in Colosseum definitely has its fans now. Me most certainly being one of them. I really want a third game in this style. The double battles, the snagging, it just feels so damn unique and fresh. I doubt it'll happen now with the Switch being a hybrid system and not really having a need for it since the core series are already on it, but hell if I care. If they made a third Shadow Pokemon game, I'd buy it in a heartbeat. Even though they could literally make Pokemon Hot Garbage and Pokemon Wet Garbage and I'd still pre-order both versions. I've talked your ears off long enough. Just buy this game. It's so damn good. This has been that Flame Assassin guy, and I miss Mirror already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next mission.